falls back. He doesn't. We launch it for the back shoulder, and it's Chenault. See if we get some deeper passes or maybe check this one down. It's not a well-placed ball, and it's going to get picked off. As we start with a pass to the outside, Hubbard getting shouldered. And on top of that, he's a little bit shaken up. He really hasn't shown the ability to do yet as Russell gets the sack. As we go fullback dive, it's the rookie Thomas. His passes as that one's lofted up for Adams, and it will be by Cash. As it's going to be out for Barlow on the run, he gets it into the end zone. Throughout, we saw the knockaways. We didn't have a whole lot of trouble in that first half. And coming off that win against the Raiders, we have 2 more games left this season, which today obviously going to be against the Broncos, and then we will finish out next week on Monday against the New York Giants. And that, as mentioned, 2 weeks left for us to try to get Chuba Hubbard to that 2K total yard mark. Luckily for us, his injury last game did not become significant. It was at least good enough to take him out of the entirety of the second half of the game. But he is still good enough to try to wrap up this season. And right now, he is just shy of 700 rushing yards. Meanwhile, receiving is a little bit over 1,000. But that leaves him still needing 280 yards. So split even amongst the next 2 games, we need to average 140 total yards with him, which is going up from the 120 we had prior to the injury. So we need Chuba Hubbard to have a big game. And he'll have to do it against the 9-6 Denver Broncos that has Patrick Surtain, who's probably going to take away a good chunk of our traditional passing game to our normal receivers. Luckily for us, Chuba Hubbard is not a normal receiver, but Surtain is their highest overall. They still have Russell Wilson at QB. He's a 78, has not been shipped off yet. As for running back, Javonte Williams, a healthy Williams. They also have Zach Moss backing him up in 81. As for their receivers, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, still the primary guys. They also have Marvin Mims Jr. So a pretty solid 1-2-3. Then you have Tim Patrick, the veteran at this point, and Charlie Jones, a 71, with the rookie and Tyrone Goodson. At tight end, Mike Gesicki, an 81, then not much past him. As for their offensive line, left tackle, they got Garrett Bowles, and he's a very solid offensive tackle with not really a weakness at power or finesse. So we're just going to put our best all-around rusher against him, which is most likely going to be Wanham. However, where they are missing someone is at left guard. Ben Powers is out, but it's not much of a step down to the rookie superstar in D'Angelo Venable. He'll be getting a start today up at a 78, and it's the same at center with Lloyd Cushenberry III. As for right guard, Quinn Miners, an 85. And then right tackle, Mike McGlinchey, an 80. So this is a pretty solid offensive line. Their defensive line, not as high here at left end, though it is a rookie in Calvin Sears out of Ohio State, a 71. At right end, Zach Allen, a 78, and DTs, they got Justin Jones, a 74, and Malcolm Roach, a 71. So it's not a dominant defensive line, which is kind of similar to what we saw with the Raiders last week, and our offensive line did really well against them. At left outside linebacker, they have Jonathan Cooper as well as Jack Sanborn. Both are a 76, so we'll see who gets the start. Over at the right side, Darren Browning, an 81. They also have Nick Bitonio, a 74. Right down the middle, they got Jordan Hicks, a 77, and Drew Sanders, a 76, plus Jack Gibbons, 75. So a tight group there. And then, of course, we talked about Patrick Surtain, 99. Past him, it's a good step down, as the second guy is Steven Nelson, who is a 78, then Christian Fulton, a 75, Damari Mathis, a 74, and Riley Moss, a 72. As for the safeties, Justin Simmons, an 89, and J-Ron Curse, a 78. So outside, really, Simmons and Surtain, I think we could do just fine in the passing game, which is going to be good because we need to get Chuba Hubbard going. And as he's been all year, he's primarily a receiver. So let's see as we jump on into week 17. Can we get Chuba Hubbard at least 140 yards? More would just make things a little bit easier for him in week 18. Let's get this rain game underway as Hecker boots us off We got Goodson back to return, and he will take the knee. The Denver Broncos will start at the 25 for Russell Wilson, and honestly, an all-around pretty solid offensive build. But our defense, they're coming off their best game that we've really seen them have in a good while against the Raiders. It was just consistent really throughout. We knocked away passes, though it's going to be wide open for Gesicki, who bounces off of the first tackle and rush, and the ball, they're in plus territory. And that's a pretty prime example why we typically like to run man. Make sure we have at least one guy on everyone. Did not there. As they go with a run, it's Williams with some open space as we bring him down at the 30, but that is back-to-back 15-plus yard plays. So try to hype up the defense there at the beginning, and clearly they're not living up to it quite so far. As we do get some pass rush, though, it's going to be broken, and they do get it out, plus a flag is down. Looks like there was a late hit in the backfield. It's going to give them a free set of downs. That's just the kind of calls you're going to get with a veteran quarterback. Can't touch guys who are 35 years old. As they have a lead block, we chop him down, and it will be a gain of 5, the shortest gain they've had yet. So we'll take the positives any way we could get them. 2nd and 5, they're down to the 7. As they spread, got 3 to the right-hand side. Wilson trying to get to the outside, but he can throw it into Mims, who had the defender beat. Broncos' first drive looked really good. We're going to need more from our defense moving forward. With that, it's our offense's turn to head out when we need just clean play, and we need Young to very much feed Chuba Hubbard. That's where we start with a run that will pick up 3. And as we saw at the beginning, this is not a very good defensive line, though. We don't have a very powerful offensive line. In fact, we're missing our best offensive lineman as we lose the 2 yards we just gained. So that'll leave us with a 3rd and 10 already. Sitting behind the change, we're at the 26. As we come out with a tight shotgun look here, got some drags, got some deeper developing routes as we're trying to roll out here. Need something to develop. Lift it up here for Thomas, but it's through his hands. Darren Browning a little bit shaken up for the Denver Broncos, but we're going to have to punt. And coming off a defensive drive that we had the first time out, not what we wanted to see there from the offense. See if our defense can rebound here the second time out. As they check this one down, Stockton gets shook off, but Hodgins there to help out rather quickly. And that's the exact tandem we are wanting to see for many years to come. 2nd and 9 as they go back to the run, and they do get it out, but swatted away by Horn. If that ball was any higher, that very well could have been a big play. But Horn, coming off of his injury a couple weeks ago, he's making some good plays, but just not able to rip that one out from Gesicki. Honestly, he's a little bit like Sour Patch Kids. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour. Some good, some bad. You got to take what we can and hopefully get a little bit more of the good plays. As they dump this one off, gets Gesicki. Went airborne, and he picked up the first. Already in this one, we could tell who their main guy is, going Gesicki more often than not. As we're about at the 3-minute mark here of the first quarter, Stockton right down the middle, sent on the blitz. He hits home. Wilson had nowhere to go. Now, obviously, we've talked a good bit about Cash being the defensive rookie of the year, but honestly, Stockton should have his name in the running. He's really been phenomenal this year and has improved a lot as Route, one of the other rookies, gets the sack the next play. It was going to be 1 of 3 that goes to the young guy. Now we just have to do our best not to mess it up. If we could keep him out of field goal range too, that would be fantastic. They got 3 to the right-hand side, flooding to the right side, right, left, going to right. Either way, it's a stop from Stockton. It will be a punt. So all around, it ends up being a much better drive from the defense. 2nd time out. Hopefully, same for the offense as we start with the spread. And they read it all really well. And luckily, Surtain does not get the pick there. Was thrown nearly straight at him. So we'll change it up here. Go with the halfback screen instead as we just get it out. Get some blocks out in front, or apparently not from Mitchell. Guy ran right by his face. I'll at least go for a couple yards gain, but 3rd and 8 here as we're about at the minute mark of the first quarter. Sticking with that 3 spread to the right-hand side. See if we could get maybe the zig to the outside. It's going to be Chenault getting the first down up to the 24. Well, so far, we'll say Denver doing pretty well to limit Hubbard. Need to find ways to get him going for sure. With some run right down the middle. Decent little stiff arm there. Gets us a gain of 8. And with time for maybe just one left here in the first quarter, we got Chuba Hubbard's favorite route dialed up. Can they stick with him? No, they most certainly will not. He'll catch this one, run down the sideline, bumped out at the 32, and from there we will head into the second quarter. All around, not a bad start. We stumbled a little bit, but we corrected. And that's really all you could ask for. Just make the corrections, fix things when they're wrong, or just, don't have the mistakes in the first place. But how often is that ever actually a thing? As Young steps up, he had a couple options opening up, but not a clean enough pocket. Allen gets the sack. We definitely have a fair few amount of things to try to fix in the offseason, offensive line being one of those. As we go back to the screen, just needed to develop, and Young just clutched it. He had enough time to get that out, but he wouldn't release it. And that's just going to leave us sitting way behind the chains. First down is all the way down at about the 22. Meanwhile, we're at the 48. We got 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Hubbard swinging out on the wheel. Can he get the step? Hey, he does have it. The ball placed well, and how about that for 3rd and 26? Chuba Hubbard takes it the length of the field and gets us on the board to tie this one up. Gets him even closer to the 2K mark. Perhaps that time sitting behind Run CMC was a good thing for him, as now it's going to be our defense headed out as we got a tied game here. We'd love to keep it at that, or if they want to tack on some points themselves. I will say we're getting some pass rush today, just contain has not been clean. And it goes for a first down. We'll just hit the stat sheet as a gain of 11, but really that one probably more like a 15, 16-yard flip. As they go down the middle or trying to find some space, Javonte Williams nearly broke away there, but will just be a gain of 6. We'll say so far getting a good first step with the D-line, but then a little bit slow to react after, as it's deep for Sutton, and they're gonna find him just by Horn. That is a high-level veteran throw there from Russell Wilson. As they go a little bit of some play action off of it, going right back to Sutton, who will pick up another 8. We'll say I think we do our best work when we get pressure on Wilson, so let's send a little bit of some extra guys here. A 6-man rush, and it's quickly to the outside. Mims with a maybe 1-yard catch. And they'll have to at least do that again here on 3rd, as it's 3rd and more like half a yard. Wilson making a check. We send the blitz, and he throws through it, and it's Sutton once again. We've only been able to force the one knockaway in this one, and that was Horn that got it. Besides that, it's been nothing but complete pass after complete pass as we drag down Williams at the 3. Definitely will say they're not featuring the running in this one, but it's been a good compliment as it opens up, and that's going to be an easy one. Unfortunately, they do suffer an injury on the play, but the blocking was beautiful. Well, that'll leave us here chasing once again as we have 3:03 still left in the first half. Look to get the screen out to Hubbard, a little bit of some blocks. Not really, but he kept those legs moving. Picks up 6. Now, as long as we just keep getting those yards, he'll break off a couple big ones like the previous touchdown. As we stick with the spread look, need a double move on the inside that we're really just not getting, and a sidearm that's swatted as soon as we throw it. Not many times when we spread wide does it work, so let's go the exact opposite here. 3rd and 4, a tight shotgun look. Just need something to develop underneath, and we throw it behind Jordan Thomas at the 31. Honestly, wins, losses, they don't mean much for us right now, but what does mean a lot for us is XP, and if we can continue this drive, that would definitely help out. So let's go for it here. Just gonna roll. We got our guy coming across. It's Likely, who's been demoted down to that 3rd tight end, as there's another entry for the Broncos. Considering they're still on a playoff march, these could all be very impactful for him. But as we were saying, Likely, yes, he was demoted this game down to that 3rd tight end spot. We've just seen really good plays from Jordan Thomas and, well, Hayden Hurst. And with that position having very possible large turnaround as we hit the 2-minute warning. We are trying to use the last couple weeks here to get a closer look at Jordan Thomas, see what he can do. As we come out with 2 receivers to the left, 2 tight ends to the right-hand side, a little bit of some play action as they cross the field. Need someone to break open somewhere or chuck it out, and we will not be flagged for an intentional grounding. However, it does seem like the Broncos getting a little bit more blitzy. So let's try to set up the halfback screen once again. Get this one out to Chuba, who's going to gain a little bit there. Gain of 4. By no means is it anything flashy, but it makes things a little bit more manageable here on 3rd. We need 6 yards as we got 3 to the left-hand side, 1 over to the right. Same formation as we were just in. Get this one back out to Shenault, his 2nd catch today and a 2nd first down. And as we get to the 30 with that catch, perfect time to send Chuba towards that front pylon. They haven't been able to stick with him much today, and it is open, but not enough time to get enough behind that throw. We'll say the tackle's leaving a lot to be desired. Granted, we are playing a left guard at left tackle today in Christensen due to the injury to Aquanu. Go back to the halfback screen, and what a block from Bozeman. Laid out the guy. And Hubbard just had to sit there and watch. Does not pick up the first down. We're under 30 seconds left. 3rd and 4. Need at least a first down as we launch it to the opposite side of where we were. 4th and 4. We could go with the field goal to make it a 4-point game. But Young is saying, stay out here with me. So why not stick with the aggressive nature? Got another 4th down, 4 yards needed as we go back to the plays that typically work so well for us, though we need someone to open up here as it's tossed up, and it's going to be an arm punt. Return for what's going to be a touchdown to Sanders. Well, that didn't go very well for us. Make it 21-7. Broncos get the touchdown there before half. Well, clearly that was not what Young was looking for there. Looked more like he was trying to get what he had a couple drives ago, where it was a jump ball to the tight end, just as per what we've seen very often the last couple drives, just not able to get much behind these throws due to the pass rush. So O-line needs to pick things up as we look around the league. A big game here. The Saints currently up 21-0 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Saints, they're trying to rival us here late for last place in our division. So if they can continue to pull that one out, could be pretty big in helping their efforts. As for the Bears, they host the Lions. A lot of rivalry games happening here. Lions are up 14-0. The Bears 2-13. It has not been a good season for them. As for the last update we got for you, another rivalry here, 7-7, as the 49ers taking on the Rams. And 49ers, they've only lost 3 games this year. Meanwhile, the Rams barely have won more than that, 5-10. Granted, we ourselves don't have a very good record, but we have the opportunity to have some pretty good stats as we start off this second half on offense. Going right back to Hubbard, who's trying to find some space, and will get smacked around a few times for a gain of 2. Rushing hasn't been there today. Though with that being said, he's gotten pretty involved in the passing game. Obviously, that's his better stats, as he's already over 1,000 yards in that category. As we will swing it out to him, it's too far to the outside, but he almost gets that catch after the J-Ron Curse tip. And it definitely would have been nice if he did get that grab, but it's a 3rd and 8. We got 2 to the right-hand side, Mingo closer to the left, as we have a little switch concept with the tight end. We have Mingo, the ball is lofted, and it's gonna get tipped away. We've got to just have a nice, accurate, drill the ball in throw there from Young, and he's lofted too many. But that will send the Broncos offense out, who has a 2-touchdown lead despite only scoring 2 touchdowns. They could give a big thanks to the pick 6 towards what ended that first half, as they start off this half very similar to how they started the first, but this one with a Bowles injury, and it looks like it's going to be a big one. Something really wrong with that knee. He is in pain. Hopefully, he ends up being able to shake it off rather quickly, and it's nothing too serious, but do expect bad news definitely with that one. As they go with a little bit of some play action, got some crossing routes, or dump it off. It's caught off the tip of his own helmet. Javonte Williams with a gain of 2. If only we were able to get just one of the tip passes we've had the chance at catching today. That would have definitely swung some things here for us. As they go with the screen, it's off the butt of McGlinchey. So yeah, that does make his butt having the same amount of broken up passes that our entire defense has today, as we will not get another one there right by Stockton. We've got to find ways to get these matchups better in our favor. And 1v1s with our rookie linebacker and number 1 receivers is never a good thing for us, as they're down close to the red zone, just outside of it, as Wilson slides down, maybe squeaking inside. As Stockton made it clear he was not giving up an extra inch, and he does stop them with that inch just outside the red zone. As it's 2nd and 7, we send the blitz, but it's a beautiful throw and bouncing off the first tackle down to the 1. He did not break the goal line. But just even more goes to show what I was saying earlier. The defensive line gets a good first step, but they're not following through with it. As again, good first step, but it's a drop, I believe, by an offensive lineman. Had to be either that or a fullback. Hopefully he checked in and the ref heard him. As it's 2nd and goal. At the half-inch line, it will be Williams stuffed. CJ Gardner-Johnson with another big play, and we do not have the proper lineup here. We're in a nickel set against a goal line set, but that does not matter. Jaquan Cash gets the stop. So how about that? A little bit of a goal line stand there for the defense. Forced the field goal after we gave up a good bit to get them down to that point. We'll widen their lead, but it's at least a little bit of some positivity for some young guys. Get some XP. And as our offense heads out following, we really need to start getting Hubbard some yards as much as possible. So let's get this one out to him. That's going to be about 9.5, 10 yards. And as we've been saying, every little bit helps, gets us a little bit closer. That's pretty much our Super Bowl this year, is to get Hubbard to that 2K mark. Though I'm sure our receivers aren't too happy that our leading receiver is actually a running back, as we have to check this one down to the outside, and it's another one that nearly jumped, and it's another injury for the Broncos. Honestly, whoever their strength and conditioning coach is, he might need to be fired, because they are just dropping left and right as we go back out to Hubbard, who's going even further out and picks up 7, leaving 3rd and 3. And it's another down in which we're going to go with our heavy drag concepts here. Plus, we got to stop. We got Hubbard going out on the wheel. We got options as it's going to be close, but the toe taps from Hayden Hurst. This series is all about the most fancy 3rd and 3 conversions you've ever seen. As we go with a stretch to the weak side, Hubbard trying to find a little bit of some extra space. We'll pick up 7. Now, what would be nice if we could get a little bit of a play action to him that sends him out on a wheel. That might help open a little bit of some things up, but we'll just go with a normal play action here. As we do have Hurst towards the sideline, defenders not going to get there in time. I really hope Hayden Hurst does not regress much after this season, because he's been phenomenal. We might be looking for him here, going to that back right pylon. But for now, we're going to send Chenault in motion, fake the jet sweep to him, fake the handoff, and just get it right back out to Chenault as the pass rush was coming in. We don't get much of a juke, but he keeps fighting forward. Picks up 5. And that'll leave us with 2nd and 5 down at the 13. We come out with 2 to the left, 1 over to the right-hand side. See what opens up here for us, and it might just be a simple check down that goes through the hands of Hubbard. So on 3rd and 5, let's change it up entirely. Empty set, bunch to the right, 2 to the left, including Hubbard, who's going to go out on the out route. See if we could get it to him off the fingertips. But of course, we're going for it. Again, win, loss doesn't matter, and honestly, lose probably helps us out more than anything with draft picks. We go with the halfback screen, and it is eaten up. Plus, he probably lost some total yardage on that one. Jones makes the play. However, Chuba Hubbard is at 136 yards, so pretty much sitting at that 140 mark to half what he needs for Week 18. As the defense is out, it's going to be wide open for Jerry Jeudy. His first catch today is a pretty big one. And that will send us to the 4th quarter, where we're down 24-7, but we all know what this game is about. Feed Chuba Hubbard, and if the defense makes plays, great on him. And honestly, with a better offense than what we saw against the Raiders, I can't say the defense has been awful. We've definitely missed out on things. We've had less pass breakups. We've had some tackling issues, as we see here. But we've definitely seen far worse from this defense. Primarily in the receiving game, it's been the tight end making some plays, as Stockton will get credit with that tackle. It was just with his back. But as I was trying to say, most of the catches have gone to Gesicki or Sutton. Overall, I think we've actually done pretty well, as that is not a good matchup. Luckily, we somehow get the pass breakup. Unfortunately, though, the rookie edge rusher in Braxton Fitzgerald is a bit shaken up on that one, so he'll head off here. 3rd and 11. as they go with some play action and a flood one side of the field. Though going deep the opposite way, Gardner Johnson cannot recover. A great throw on the money, and Cortland Sutton gets his touchdown. And if it takes near perfect passes to beat us, then by all means, I'm fine with that. We're now down 31-7 though, so if we could get some more points, that would be great. As we start with Hubbard, who gets to the outside, just needs to get around Simmons, which he does, going down the sideline and out just by midfield. That carry will definitely help out his total stats on this one, definitely putting him over the 150 mark. Let's go with some play action downfield. Hayden Hurst going to a double coverage, but he nearly got a hold of that one before he got clothesline. And that's probably one of those throws that Tom Brady talks about where you're not protecting your receivers. 2nd and 10. We're changing up. Got 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Chuba Hubbard going on a little bit of a zig outside here, which we will go to him. He does hold on to it. It's a gain of 5. Once again, just feeding the man as we do bring out Thomas here on 3rd and 5. He is going on the flat release. Hubbard on his normal favorite route. Mingo deep, couple other options to the right-hand side, and it looks like this is going to be for Mingo. Wanted points, we will get points. He beats the safety, just ran by everyone. Young put it on him in open space, and he does the rest. And why not? Madden is saying that we should go for 2 here, so let's go for 2. See what opens up here for us. Well, how about the flats for Chuba Hubbard? Don't know if those yards will count, but either way, it's some more XP for the young guy. Puts it to 31-15. Now, what would be great as we're coming to the end of this one is just to see some big plays from the defense, as it's going to be a flip here for the Broncos, sending the 2 receivers to the right, 2 tight ends to the left. Wilson scrambling, trying to buy time, and we'll have to throw it away. We've definitely done better today at getting some more consistent pass rush. We just haven't quite made that pass rush as helpful in actually getting the sacks as they get the screen out. Here comes Hodgins to get the tackle from across field. However, a flag comes in late. It's going to back him up. They end up calling that one on Miners to make it 2nd and 16 as they got a bunch to the left-hand side, 1 lone to the right. And they'll go right across the middle, and Gesicki's going to take a big hit there at the end. I mean, at that point, might as well have just caught that one. It would have been at least worth it. Instead, it is 3rd and 16 as they're going to flood the right side of the field, opening things up for the late release, but Stockton there to get the stop as McGlinchey shaken up. Will be a free timeout for us as they punt. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. But what I am saying is we are down 16 points with just under 5 minutes left. That's 2 touchdowns with 2 two-point conversions. Seen crazier things happen as Young trying to step up here, get it out to his receiver, but it's off his chest. Can't say that Young needed to do anything better there. He bought time. Jennings just has to make that kind of play. As it's 2nd and 10, we stick with a spread look. Having to step up in the pocket once again, and we'll pick up gain of 3. And that's actually the first official rush on the day for Young. He's had to scramble a good bit, but he hasn't made any sort of positive yards on those. As we flip it here, it is 3rd and 7. Let's make a couple audible or hot routes here. Want to have a swing for Hubbard. Slant from Mingo. As we go with the slant, he gets the catch at the line, and they're going to call that good enough for the first. Let's get back to it quickly here. Again, why not? Go for things late. A little bit of some late game drama. We love some late game drama here with this series. Across the middle. There we go, Jennings. Use the hands as he almost broke away. We're down to the 30. Let's get right back to it. Honestly, kind of wondering at this point if they're going to bring the blitz. They play a little bit of some off coverage. We'll open things up here for us. Get some blocks downfield or not. Had 2 guys there. Neither one of them wanted to actually make the play. All right, well, let's try to go the opposite way. See if we can get Hayden Hurst not quite to that front pylon. As the corner does step up, get it out for the tight end who just keeps making the play. Everyone is dog tired right now, but we got to keep pressing as we're closing in to the end of this one. 1v1 to the outside. Mingo jumps for it, but does not bring it in. And with that, we can let the guys take a little bit of a breather, though we bring in an extra lineman over on that left-hand side. I do not want him going out on a route, so let's just set him to block. We got 1 cross, Hubbard wheeling, We'll see what ends up working out here for us, and it's likely with the touchdown grab. He holds on to it this time, but we need that 2-point conversion. It ended up working out well for us last time, though, just over 2.5 minutes here. But essentially, we need this one. If we don't get it, it's going to make things a whole lot more difficult for us, as Young trying to scramble, buy some time, and as we've seen all day, no one gets open for him. He's scrambling for his life, and he can't deliver any sort of clean pass with that. So unless our defense decides to make a big play, force a quick turnover, it's very nearly done here, as Williams will pick up a couple there. We call our first timeout. We're going to give it a good shot here. But what we do need is that turnover to make things a lot easier for us as they go under center here for 2nd and 4. Trying to stretch it to the outside. The blocking is all set up. Williams will pick up that first. And from there, we hit the 2-minute mark. Need, again, some big play to be made here. Strip it. Big hit to knock it free as they go with a fake jet sweep. Williams bouncing around. He picks up one. 2nd timeout called. However, that does just leave us with 1 timeout remaining, and we're still down 10 points with 1:55 on the clock as I go with a stretch to the outside over pursuit, and that might be it as he is gone. They will add on another touchdown, and let's see what our offense could do for one more drive before we wrap up this one. Well, this drive will be all for the stats. How much easier can we make our Week 18 for Chuba Hubbard? Well, they're really starting to sit on that route out there. Simmons is a smart guy, well adjusted. Well, the real question, is J-Ron Curse going to be as adjusted? We're going to run the same play, just flipping the side, and yeah, they're sitting everyone to the outside. Young going to scramble, get down, 3rd and 2 as we get back to the line rather quickly. We're just going to straight up hand this one off. Get Chuba Hubbard some easier yards rather than having to find some open space, as he does find a little bit of some space. 1st down, just shy of the 50. And as they walk down the safety to the right-hand side over the top of Hurst, try to get the halfback screen out with decent blocking this time would be nice. But we get actually most of the blocks. It was just the 1v1 we didn't get by. And after that, Hubbard's like, I need at least a breather for a play. So 2nd and 6, let's change up the play then, since we don't have Hubbard out there. A little bit of some play action. Gonna flood one side of the field, one guy going deep and sitting. That's not your teammate, Young. That is entirely the wrong team. And I don't think you could blame the rain on that one. 3rd and 6, 23 seconds left. Need to pick up a 1st down here. Rolling. We got a guy come. That's Chenault who gets the catch. Slips one. Not going to get away. Let's call our final timeout there. And with that, we could get Chuba out for at least one more play. It's his route towards that pylon. How well is Simmons going to sit on it? Where they're sitting pretty well, but it's open for Mingo. But it's not a good throw. That one maybe slipped from Young. Just trying to find the last little bit for Hubbard here. 11 seconds left. Can we hit it one more time? Well, it's open this time as he gets the catch down to the 3. And that will do it for us. So no more touchdowns, but it's a nice little chunk of yardage to add on to his tally. And that was really the focus of this game. If the defense decided to step up and play well, then by all means, I would have been fine with a win. But the loss does well in helping us towards that top 5 pick. And we get a whole lot of XP. And overall, we are that much closer to getting Chuba Hubbard to his 2K mark. Now at 745 rushing yards and 1,176 receiving yards. So in week 18, he will just need 79 yards and he will hit that 2K mark. He also has had 7 touchdowns receiving and 3 rushing. So he's at 10 total. If he could have, 5 touchdowns in week 18, sure, that would be great. But it's the 2K mark for him. As for the team in general, we actually outgained the Denver Broncos in that one, 406 to 380. So if we didn't throw the pick 6, it's a 1-score game. And if we make a couple more things happen, then yeah, it was a winnable game. We just weren't playing really to win. We were playing to get our guy his stats. I'm perfectly fine with that. Russell Wilson threw 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. His completion percentage was a 73, so we started to do a little bit better in breaking up some passes. We did see the defensive line have a bit more of an effect in this game, rushing-wise, but we just weren't racking up the sacks. Meanwhile, Bryce Young threw 360 yards, 3 touchdowns, did have the 1 bad interception, and honestly probably should have had another one there towards the end. Only 56% completed, though, so if he completed 70% of his passes, he easily could have had 450 yards in this one. As for the rushing, Javonte Williams, he had a great game. Averaged 10 yards a rush, had 2 touchdowns, his long of 54, and that still would have put him close to 100 yards even if he didn't have that one. So it was a truly good game for him. We obviously saw Chuba Hubbard have a pretty decent one as well, 6.4 yards per rush, and really no one else had much of a chance. In the receiving game, Chuba Hubbard $150. Yeah, we know what he does. He's the guy. Sutton did have a really good game. 5 catches, 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Gesicki, 4 for 73, though we definitely slowed him down in that second half. So we made some decent adjustments. Hurst also did really good for us. Mingo had the big one. Outside of that, only 1 catch for not that many yards. So would like to see some of these other receivers make some bigger plays, but right now, it is really Chuba Hubbard and maybe a little bit of some scrambling from our guy in Young and sprinkling in some tight end play. That's the offense. As for the defense, it was Horn that led both teams in tackles with 9. Then they had the next 2 guys in Hicks and Curse, then Stockton and Hodgins for us. So Hodgins is racking up a lot of tackles. I can't say he's making the big plays. No tackle for a loss, no sack. Meanwhile, Stockton, he had the tackle for a loss and sack. He's definitely the primary linebacker for us going forward, but we're seeing some decent play from Hodgins. On top of that, we're also still seeing Solomon Rout continue to do really well with the opportunities we've given him. Only had 1 tackle. It was a tackle for a loss. It was also a sack, but still, he's racking up some bigger stats than most of the higher rated guys that we've had have been able to do, especially before we traded him, Derek Brown. But that does bring us to the conclusion of today's episode, where we will pick up on Monday to finish off this season. And it'll be against the New York Giants. Both of us are 5-11. However, they have really good trenches on the defense. So we're going to have to get that play to the outside against 79 yards for Chuba Hubbard, and he hits that 2K mark. So these last couple episodes of this season, yeah, they're all feeding Chuba Hubbard, and hopefully the defense has bigger plays. I don't expect the Giants offense to be too great, so hopefully they'll be able to perform and we'll have a good celebratory end to the season, especially if we can solidify Defensive Rookie of the Year with Cash. That would go a long way in helping boost him for the future and this team for the future. So make sure you stick around if you have not already. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down, hit the sub button. They both do the same thing, completely free to you. It just, 1, makes it easier for you to find these videos, and 2, if you hit that bell icon, it'll alert you of these videos, and 3, it helps grow the channel as we are close to the 1K mark, the first real big milestone here. So if you enjoy, do stick around this series every single Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, plus the state-only challenge, currently Central States, Arkansas, Missouri, and Nebraska. That series out every single Wednesday and Saturday, so that one will be out next tomorrow. So stick around and we will see you then. We'll see you in Week 18 as we finish off Season 2.